Taking a look at different guitar programs, including Amplitube, HyBrit, Blue Cat, and Amped Roots. Using them all in conjunction, but we can try to see how Amplitube sounds with the vintage metal lead, changing the tube selection and wattage. Maybe you can hear the difference. So that's the 50 watt 6L6. Here's the 100 watt. Maybe a little more headroom in that one. Sounds pretty good. Let's go to the EL34 50 watt, very common tube. Let's go to the 100 watt real quick. So you can also change the EQ model. Let's go to the British tube lead, which could be a little crunchy, and we'll go to the 50 watt EL34. And now I'll change the tube setting as the music plays. And then you can adjust the gain and the bass in the middle and treble presence as you see fit after you select the type of tube you kind of like the sound. Now maybe you're not using that. I like to use them all in conjunction here. I got 5 tracks of different things, so that was the Amplitube's kind of British sound. But this one's more of a clean sound with the tremolo, which would sound like this. Now you can mix that with the previous sound of the crunchy amp, so you get something like this. Now I also have a couple other things here. We have the Blue Cat, which is a little bit less quality, but we also have a track dedicated to bass frequencies, so you know, it would be the low end, something like this. Now it's kind of unorthodox to have a bass amp there, but that's just to fill in the bottom end anytime I want. So then I have the Blue Cat and the HyBrit. Let's go to the HyBrit, which is like a Marshall, like the first one you heard is more like that British tube amp. And then we'll play this one. Well, you can adjust the gain on that one the way you want, maybe a little more you want. Like this setting I have here, of course, this will be a lot of boost right here. But I liked it a little dialed back. And then I'd mix it in with some of these other things. Now I have the Blue Cat right here. Let's listen to that one. Now that's kind of like the presence is dialed back. Maybe it doesn't sound up front, but that's what I'm using it for, kind of like the higher mid-range Marshall type sounds. So I would just fade them in as needed. And this last track was the amped roots, which is this high gain, which I have at like 0. You know, it's pretty powerful, so I just want to use it for a low-end crunch. So now you have all these different tones, just the like low-end crunch. The Blue Cat is like the Marshall higher mid-range. The HyBrit is kind of more of the mid-range, smoothed out Marshall sound. And then the first one you heard was the kind of a crunchy British tube Marshall. I can mix a little bit of that in. Now let's mix a little Blue Cat in. Keep the amp roots up. Keep the HyBrit down, and you get something like this. You may go, well, it's a little messy. I'll get rid of the Blue Cat. Bring up the HyBrit Marshall. Take down the bright British amp with the first one. Bring in the second one with the tremolo clean. There you go. Well, I want mostly clean with the little fuzz of the HyBrit. So I'll leave the HyBrit in and bring up the bass bottom end with the clean tremolo sound. So this is just a slight Marshall crunch, bass frequencies, and the clean tremolo. So then you just adjust it the way you want. Maybe you go, I want a lot more crunch than that. You could bring in that first one, which is a bright crunch. Maybe some of the amp roots, the low bottom, along with the tremolo and the bass. You go, well, I really want the mids of the HyBrit. Forget the amp roots for now. I'll give it the Blue Cat and the HyBrit, clean tone and the bass tones. So I'll play the demo recording over and over and adjust all these different settings here and see what we get as it plays. You hear that? That's the Blue Cat. That's a really like upper mid range, and we'll compare that to the HyBrit Marshall lower tones and the Marshall type amp of the Amplitube. But here we go. You hear, so they're totally different depending on how you adjust them. So, you know, can have some fun with this. Most all these programs are free, including the DAW by Waveform 11. Have some fun with it. Go crank them all up, you know, see what happens.